Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching us from. My name is Comfort Eyitayo, your regular host for Connect with Comfort show. I'm glad you are able to join us today. On this show, we aim to add value to people on business, enterprise, and personal growth. We also feature special guests who are subject matter experts to help us to throw more insight into the topic of the day. I'm glad you are able to join us today. You are most welcome. Today's topic is a very unique and crucial topic, and that is structuring our business for success. How do we structure our business? In the dynamic landscape of entrepreneurship, the way we organize and manage our businesses can significantly impact their growth, resilience, and overall success. Whether you are a seasoned entrepreneur looking for ways to refine your existing structure, or someone just starting out in the business world, understanding the right framework of your venture is very important. Today, we intend to explore various aspects of business structures, from the legal consideration and organizational frameworks for strategic planning. As we navigate through this discussion, please let's keep it in mind that there's no one size fits all. What works for Mr. A may not work for Mr. B, vice versa, talk of company. So we have to find the unique structure that aligns with our goal. It's important to bear this in mind as we go along in this venture. We will hear insights, share experiences, and gain valuable perspective from the experts we have in the house on this very interesting topic. So without wasting too much time, we'll go straight into looking how we can structure our business for optimal performance and long-term sustainability. I'm sure that is what we all desire. Together, we can unlock the key to a well-structured and thriving business. Please remain connected while we go on a very short break. We'll be right back. Thank you. You are welcome back. Our distinguished guest today is Immaculate Steve-Harris. She is a process management expert and a Six Sigma champion. She is an associate member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, the Nigerian Institute of Training and Development, and a member of the American Society of Administrative Professionals. So we have the right person with us today. She has over 15 years experience in business administration, international recruitment, consulting, and process management, and other special areas that borders on the topic of the day. She has worked with and consulted for various industries, including oil and gas, automotive, fintech, fashion, real estate, consulting, to mention but a few. Immaculate has designed, managed, and facilitated several culture transformation and process management interventions for several organizations. She's also known as the structure queen. She has introduced many of her clients to the importance of building proper business structure and systems into their businesses, which has generated incredible value to not only the effectiveness and corporate productivity of her clients, but also to other organizations' bottom line. She's also a director of Ed Cushing Consulting and a chief executive officer at Administ- Administrates USA. I hope I got that right, Immaculate.
Yes, you
Thank
did.
you
You
very
did.
much. What a loaded bio. Thank you very, very much. I know we are in good hands and we'll be able to tap into the wealth of experience that has been so highly demonstrated here. Thank you. You are
Thank you.
welcome again. Please join me in welcoming our guest, Immaculate Steve-Harris.
Thank you so much for
Welcome.
having me. I appreciate this. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here and, to be able to give a bit of knowledge that I have. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. So, without much ado, we fire on straight away with our first question. What is the primary purpose of a business structure?
Okay. So I would say, so many times when we say business structure, a lot of times we're thinking about the legal implication or the type of legal entity that our business is. So we might be most likely thinking about whether it's sole proprietorship, limited, partnership, or corporation. The reason that business structure is important, of course, is for to guide how your business is run. So, or guide how um, the nation or the entity guiding business in the nation sees your business. So, for instance, if you're a sole proprietorship, it means that you are the only person in the business, kind of like managing it is dependent on you. And that means even when it comes to taxation and all that is considered. If you're a limited liability, same thing, like a limited company, it means you're treated as a full business, not just an individual. The sole proprietorship will be looked at as just an individual. But when it comes to a limited company, they're looking at you as a full corporation that you're able to, different from your owner, you're able to do multiple businesses. Also in taxation, that's also considered where you may have to pay different types of taxes. Also, when it comes to partnership, that's where you have multiple people come together to say, okay, we're coming together as a partnership to run this. That also affects how your taxation goes, and then corporation and all of that. But the major thing is, before you start a business, you need to consider how you want to be perceived. Look, if you're just a single entity wanting to do buying and selling, just simple trading, you may need to consider that your business structure is focused on you as an entity, so that you're not paying multiple taxations and it's affecting and then kills your business. So all in all, basically, you need to look at the type of business you're running. If you're going to be like a public entity, you're going to share stocks and all, you cannot be a sole proprietor. The kind of taxes that you pay will also be different. So that's the important thing. Check the type of your business, consider the taxation involved, consider the magnitude of the type of business you want to do, consider that you may need to share stocks and stock options. That is the key thing that guides it. So it's like the legal guidance for how you want to be perceived as a company. Also, stepping back from that, another thing is, business structure also talks about the integrity of your business. So how do people perceive you? How good are you? Are you effective in your business? Can your business stand the test of time? So what are the things guiding or helping you build integrity, like your processes, like the systems you have in your business? That's just like a simple summary of what it is. So legal way in which your business is seen, and also the integrity of how your business is sustained. So that's the importance of having structure in your business.
Thank you very much. You have actually packed so many of the question answers to the question into one, but it's good to know because
Yeah.
you've been able to tell us the difference in structure, talk of legal structure, the personal, individual, and corporate business and all that. So
Yeah.
now, since we are looking at the importance of structure for our business, we
Mm-hmm.
need to, yes, you've told us the kind of the type of structure that exists. We need to really know, like maybe somebody who has not even started his or her business and aiming to start the business. How do how do I start? Yes, I want to start a business. What do I consider? What are the most important things, like business model? What are the things I should consider first?
Okay, so in starting a business first, the first thing you're looking at is, so I will start from the basic, that away a bit from business structure. You're looking at, the type of market you're going to go into. So you have this big idea. Is there even a market for it in the first instance? And yes, if there's a market for it, who are the customers? So based on who the customers are, that's what will determine what your business structure will be. So, for instance, if you're just going to make clothes for individuals, for instance, you have no business going to register a limited liability company, because what will happen is that when it's time to pay taxes to FIRS or the state, when they hit you with those bills, you'll be wondering, but I'm just selling simple clothes to customers. Why are they billing me so much? However, you've registered as a limited liability company, and then taxes will be effective because of the kind of legal structure that you are. So, for instance, if you are making clothes, I'm still going to use clothes for all of you. If you're making clothes, but then you're making like uniforms to supply to big organizations, like maybe they have um, uniforms, army uniforms, military uniforms, attires for people who work offshores, and also you're doing large scale. So it's not just that you're working with individuals, you're now working with corporations, not the type of corporations. So there's some corporations in Nigeria that if you are not a limited liability company, you can't be their customer, because they're looking at the kind of maybe margin of money that you would have to deal with. Maybe you're dealing with 50 million and above, maybe even in dollars. They will need you to be a limited liability company. You can't just, say, oh, you're a sole proprietor. And that means that if anything happens, it's just you. But they would like to deal with a legal entity that is more than just the owner. So that's also what will make you decide. That you're saying that your customers are maybe oil and gas company, maybe is the government. You can They will not attend to you if it's just you that bears the burden of the business. They need a full legal entity. That's when you consider saying, okay, I want to be a limited liability company, because I see that I'll be doing business with very big organizations who will not do with me if I'm just coming as an individual, like a sole proprietor. Now again, in the consideration of, okay, I am a business. So some people have this great idea, but they are local. So you are in Nigeria, but the expertise that required are actually outside the country, international. So you might want to look, okay, do I want a partnership with somebody that's outside the country that has that expertise? That's when you might be considering, okay, let's form a partnership. Some people say joint venture, but there is also a partnership where two people come and say, or two groups of companies come together to say, okay, we're going to form one entity, and together we'll be able to deal with other like our company, our businesses, our customers as they come up. So basically, if you have this idea, the main question you should ask yourself is, who am I going to serve, and what are the rules for those people I'm trying to serve? If you are going to serve the government, if you're going to serve big corporations, know this: they will not most times they won't attend to you if you're just a sole proprietor, because being a sole proprietor means that that what you can do is limited in a sense. So they want corporations who the business doesn't fall only on them. So you have entity. If they want to reach out to you, even in your absence, the business is still functional. That's like what you should consider. So consider the market, consider the idea, consider the type of customers and the rules that guide the customers. Then you can then make the decision to what the right legal structure is for you to register. So that's the
Thank you.
idea.
Thank you very much. As usual, you you really went into depth. It's very useful because what you are saying more or less is for us to determine how far we want to take our business. How far do
Mhm.
we want to go? How big do we want to get?
Yes.
If we really like the saying, if you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, you need to have more people on the journey. So
Mm.
collaboration, getting more people, which being a corporate entity requires, because to be a corporate entity, you need to have at least two people. That's at very least two people. So
Mhm.
it gives you more backing, so to say, more
Yes.
credibility. People look at you beyond the managing director, CEO kind of thing, all in one, everything in the suitcase, manager, secretary, cleaner,
Mm.
still
Yeah.
the same person. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but most people start that way. But that notwithstanding, we should always aim high. We should always
Mm.
have this mind that yes, at the beginning we may start our business small, but we should
Mhm.
aim to grow, and that will inform the kind of structure we want to
Mhm.
put in place. Thank you very much. It's very enlightening. Having said that, another key area that concerns business sustainability is the financials of the business. So, how do we have stable or the right business structure financially this time around? Kind
Okay.
of sources of funding, blah blah, all that.
Okay. So, though I'm not a finance expert, but on business structures and working with clients, there are a lot of things I've seen. So, when it comes to finances, most times what you're looking at in terms of funding or in terms of capital is for a sole proprietor, you can't really do much except that your friends and family are the ones who are going to fund your entity when you start. But however, if you're looking at a corporation, you might be sharing stock or shares, and then for you to expand your capital base, you might need to share your um sell your shares, and then when people buy you, you're able to amass more capital to be able to expand your business. So basically it still comes back to the same kind of business you are. So but we also found out that some limited liability companies that are especially tech related, they now are able to get fundings from international or even um, local investors. But however, I've not seen a case where a sole proprietor was invested in by, like an organization. Usually they want to see that this company has credibility, and they're not investing or in the individual, they're investing in the organization and the benefits that the organization brings. So what they're looking at is, if you are absent as an owner, will the company still function? If you are absent, will their investment still be working? Now, if it's just you alone, meaning, God forbid, something happens, you're sick or you die, it means as a sole proprietor, that's probably the end of the business. However, if you're a limited liability company, because you've been able to build structure, you've been able to build systems, you've been able to build processes, when it's time to invest, people are able to invest in you. That's why we see a lot of companies and individuals investing in tech companies now. But however, when it comes to bigger corporations, when they feel like there's need for expansion, there's some shortfalls in capital, what they just do is they just push out stock options or push out share options, and people go to buy the share 20 naira per this, and they are selling 1 million, and they're able to make up for make up the capital that they want. And then when they do that, the benefit, there are also still benefits to the shareholders, people who purchase their shares. So when it comes to financials and or financial capital and investment and business structure, it is good to know that the more that they can see you as a credible person, the more that they're able to either invest in you, and as the corporation, the more that they're able to think that they can actually buy your shares. And because of precedents that you that shows that whatever product or services you have improved over time, people are able to decide that buying your shares is a good investment option. So that's a bit I know about financials when it comes to like business structure.
Thank you very much. That question was even asked in relation to the structure. You know, some people want to go to business, like I said, they want to know what and what, like a checklist kind of what they need to consider. So, to that extent, that leads me to the next question. If we are talking of the structure, how to structure well the business, what will you say in a simple nutshell to a newcomer what such person can consider as A to Z in terms of business structure for growth, for success?
Okay.
You
Okay.
understand?
Yeah. So let me list the like three things that actually, or yeah, four things actually that actually would help you when you're looking at structuring your business for growth. So number one, you're thinking of the objectives, your objectives for that business. Number two, you're thinking of the strategy for that business. Number four, you're looking at the processes to achieve that strategy and to reach the objectives. Number four, what are the systems that you're looking at to sustain that business over time? And then when we're talking about system, we're talking about the processes required, we're talking about the people required, we're talking about the technology required, and we're talking about the interface of all these things, including how it integrates, how your business interacts with everything inside of it, different systems. So yeah, most times what is most important in most businesses to for expansion and growth is customer acquisition. So you're thinking about how you can have a system that can improve your customer acquisition. But before you even get to that system, what are the processes that are required for you to actually be giving excellent service? So the thing is, you cannot grow except your customers perceive you as an excellent service provider. Friends and family may buy from you, but an external person would ask themselves, why would I choose you as a business? So when you're thinking of expanding, you're supposed to be answering some questions. And yet, I always say this, that one of the most important things, which also comes into the strategy, is voice of the customer. So what is your customer saying to you? What do they want? How do they want your service? How do they want you to serve them? You can't expand except you are hitting the right note with your customers. So every time they interact with you, it's an excellent experience. And if they have an excellent experience, they would want to come back always. And what makes people expand is because they now have more customers than they can manage at that certain level. So once you get to that point, you see that, okay, it's time for me to move either to get to have bigger facilities or to serve people in international region, because I've been able to conquer this region. I've seen that I've been able to do well. So when it comes to business growth, you can't overlook the objective, the why to your business. Why do you have that business? You can't overlook strategy. See, even if you have the goal and you don't have the strategy, you'll just be messing up things. You need the strategy to help you to achieve that goal. If you say that your objective is to be the best training company in 5 years, for instance, what is the strategy you want to use to achieve that goal? What is your strategy to ensure that you're there? And what are the processes that keeps you in place, making sure that you're doing things excellently? Then finally, what are the systems that you have in place to make sure that every time you are efficient. You are very efficient to the point that you are now overbooked or oversubscribed. So those are the like four key things that people who need to expand, who want to expand their businesses should be looking at.
Thank you very much, Immaculate. That is very correct and very, very educative. Now, with all this, what would be uh, what they should prepare their mind towards in terms of risk? Because, like they say, no venture, no risk, no venture, whatever. I
Mhm.
forgot the other way. Now, if in any business you have element of risk, nothing
Yeah.
venture, nothing gain. That's what I was going to mention. With that, the risk comes hand in hand with
Yes.
venture, with businesses. So, what kind of advice would you give to a startup or even those that are already in business on how to manage either expected or unexpected risk and then mitigate them probably?
Okay. So true thing that you can't, nobody grows in life or in business without taking the risk. The risk is just stepping into an area that you do not know, or even if it's an area that you know, like you can't fully know what could happen. Environmental influences can come. Sometimes it's the government changing policies that affect you. But when you want to take risks, what I always say is first you have to analyze before you go into anything, have some sort of analysis. Okay, I'm about to go into this market. Are there possible things that may come up and how can I handle it? Is there a possibility that the competition can step in and change prices? So it's like question and answer. If they change prices, what do I do? How do I pivot? How can I do something better that still puts me above, that keeps my customer coming back? So yes, there will be the risk, but the question and answers, the questions you ask yourself, the analysis that you do before you step in is what will help you. And number two, after you've done those analysis, don't remain in the analysis paralysis where you're analyzing and analyzing. Take the risk, but take them bit by bit, meaning you take calculated risk. You've analyzed, then you've planned. Okay, the first phase, you put them into phases. First phase, this is where we're going to conquer. And then you conquer that, and you've seen that all the risks you've dealt with that, you take it next stage and next stage and next stage. So you are gone through the whole process and you'll be able to achieve what you want to achieve. If you run in full force without planning and calculating, what would happen is you'll get thrown back. You may have a huge loss that can end your business. So the idea is take the calculated risk, check what your performance indices are to see that what you have actually put in place is working. And then when it's working, you move forward to the next step. Now, what that happens is if you make a mistake at step three or at stage three, it means that the loss that you've made is just minimal based on that stage. And then you can fall back to stage two, do like some calculation, check your operations, and see how you push forward. And then again, I would say just go in. Don't be afraid to fail. If you fail, take a step
Try
back,
and try again.
celebrate, and move forward. I think what makes people fail is when they lose the first time, they don't
Yeah.
want to try. But people who have been successful, the likes of Coca-Cola and the likes, they tried over and over again, and that's why they're here today. So you might be afraid as a small business, but every business started as a small business, and those global corporations that you're looking at now and seeing and looking at as though they were big from the beginning took those risks, push through it, and survive it. So please calculate and break it down into stages and then proceed. That's my advice.
Thank you very much. There's no way of avoiding risk. The
No.
message is no way of avoiding risk if you want to grow, because you need to venture into the unknown. And
Yeah.
sometimes, most times, the unknown comes hand in hand with risk. But taking the calculated risk, that is what is important. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just plunge yourself into any risk at all. There are some
True.
risks that can drown, that can drown
True.
people and not come out of it. But if it's a calculated risk, like she has told us step by step, if step one does not work, step two might work, and going on like that, you'll be able to get something right. So just put that in the basket as part of it would happen. So then the other thing with all that we are talking about our structure, the human angle, human resources. In these days of Jackpa and this and that, you need people to work within your business to grow. So how do you actually structure that in? Because it has taken many businesses aback and some are even gone down because of that. So in
Yeah.
fixing our structure for growth, I think it's something that we need to consider really, because it has come to stay, the Japa syndrome, and people, those who have not even Japa these days, people are not willing to put in the best. Everybody wants money, fast money. So how do
Mm-hmm.
we put that? How do we factor it into having an enduring structure for our business?
Yes. So this is a great question and a big problem that many organizations are going through. And as one of the services my company renders is global recruitment. And in recruiting, especially for Nigerian organizations, we tend to find out that first their concern is I had a client who said like they had maybe 12 human resource people in their department, their HR department, and as at the moment they had only two left. It means that either all of them have relocated or they've gone to other organizations. But the thing is, you need to survive as a business. So what we're actually here to discuss is how can you make sure that even if your people leave, your business can still continue. And then one of the things that I would like to propose, or I always propose to them, number one, is having a standard operations procedure manual. So that standard operation procedure manual is having like a group of processes together. And the reason this is important is because when people leave, when you have to recruit again, there is time lapse where first you have to get people to come in and they need to learn and they need to train. However, there are a few people there who, if you have the standard operations procedure, they can be able to read it and be able to be like a stopgap for the time before you have a new person come to fill that role. So having the standard operations procedure is not, so a lot of people have it, it's just a document that they don't use. But having a standard operations procedure means when things were working, you created a standard for it, and then you've documented those standards so that anybody, the idea is to make it as simple as possible, that even people who are not in that field can replicate it and then do it. So that's number one. Number two is flexibility. So a lot of organizations now, they don't want, they're saying, oh, they want people, everybody to come in full time. However, we found that if you're able to be flexible for the employee, they don't mind staying with you a little longer. So maybe you might have to consider having a hybrid team. So some people will work remote, some people will work full time on site. You might consider that. And then again, in flexibility, it also comes with team bonding. Like, how is your team bonding at this moment now? Because it kills people when, oh, my colleague at Japan, maybe I should Japan too. But when they see that, okay, you're considering every single thing, you're considering their well-being, it will take them some time before they even leave. And also, if you have the remote option open to them, you would find out that people can relocate and still work in the country where they're relocated to, at least for the time being, while they're trying to fill that position on site. Then number three again is I feel like companies should become a lot leaner. So we have quality people out there, but not a lot of quality people. And as a recruiter, I say we sometimes we push out jobs and then we have like 200 people apply, and from the 200 we could probably get only 3 people qualified for a particular role. So it's becoming really harder. But we have organizations that you can want to have 10 people, but you don't have the means to support those 10 people. So instead of, paying people standard salary, you're helping them substandard salary. So you hire somebody, you want to pay them 250 on a job that is usually 400K, and then you want to hire 10 people. But what if the idea, what if what we considered was, let me hire 4 people and pay them really well. They will work, but I will pay them so well that no organization will be able to poach them from me. So instead of having 10 people who are not even quality, you have 4 quality people, very well paid, delivering you more than 10 people pound. So that's just my advice. First, have your SOP in place. Number two, be flexible as an organization. And number three, run a lean team and pay the team well, and then you pay the team. So that's my advice.
Fantastic. Starting with the SOP, which is like having a plug and play kind of template, because it's easier. Even when you are busy to take somebody through your standards and procedures, that there's a template for them to read and then be able to understand the system. That makes it cuts out the delay in getting acclimatized or getting grounded in business. That is right. Flexibility, it has come to stay. We cannot run away from it because things have really changed. Perhaps that will be the carrot that we need to dangle to get people to be interested in working for us. It's better, like they say, half bread is better than none. Where the flexibility comes in. And then the issue of paying well, it's better to have 2 than to have 6 that are not efficient, that are not equal to 1. So those are very, very good advice. I'm sure our audience are taking notes. Thank you very much for that. That's human resources angle sorted. Now, part of the structure, part of the concern is also the technology and technological infrastructure that we should factor into the structure that we're building for our businesses, because that's another fact that has come to stay. The train is a fast moving one, not just moving train. It's a fast moving one. Before you get grab with, before you are able to grapple with one, another part is coming out, another one is coming out. So it's on the move. So how do we factor that into our structure to make sure that we have a sustainable structure, both in terms of infrastructure and maybe tools for advancement and things like that?
Okay, that's a great question, and seeing that first, most things cannot be done without the technological aspect of it. So you need to, and then when we're thinking about technologies, we're looking at how can we optimize and automate some of the things that we do to reduce the time that we use to get those things done. And in this day and age where we are short staffed at most times, where you can reduce the number of staff that need to work at certain things. So for instance, you find out that most organizations now that need to take payment, they're taking payments online. They're having different types of payment portals that can be used, a lot of them. So instead of you being that archaic company which you say, oh, go to the bank and pay, or for instance, another important instance is you want international clients. However, you only have a portal that allows for payment in Naira. Now, most of those people, they don't understand what Naira is. And the flip side to it is, yes, the Naira is falling gravely against the dollar, but how do you ensure that you can receive your payment also in dollars? But technology has made it easy. There are many payment companies that allow you to pay in any currency and you can receive it in dollars. So you need to be thinking ahead of what the situation is at the moment. For instance, you're thinking at an organization, you're thinking, okay, maybe I should have hybrid or remote staff. How are you going to have meetings with them every time? Or do you expect that every time you want to have meetings, maybe you're doing only WhatsApp video? How do you also ensure that you're able to monitor what your staff are doing? That's where other apps are coming, where you can have meetings live with them. how people can put their daily objectives online to say, okay, this is what I've done, this is my to do, this is what I've completed, and you can see it live. Sometimes you're in a different, maybe you are an MD of a company, you've that bad, but your company is still functional. How are you able to share information with your staff? Maybe you need to then pay to have cloud services where your staff can have access to information without disturbing you. Because if you have time difference and your staff, for instance, need to meet a deadline, do they have to wake you up at night to say, "Oga, please send me one form or that"? They should be able to have access to the cloud to get the information from there. So yes, tech is important, but however, we need to move way ahead of our competition to make sure that we continue remaining in business. So what I'm going to say is keep learning. When you hear that there's a new app or check that it's something that you can use for your business, whether it's a payment portal, whether it's an interface platform, whether it's cloud on its own, just make sure that you're trying to do it as possible to automate. It's funny that some people, their business is on Instagram. You don't now we found out that you don't even need to be on Instagram to post. You can actually automate it once a week and to post for you for the rest of the week and even the rest of the year. So we need to utilize technology as much as possible so that it is beneficial to us and streamlines our activities to automate other activities. So that's my bit on tech.
Thank you very much. I know we have pushed a lot for your time because we're enjoying the insight, great insight that you are sharing with us. But before I let you go, can you just, like a parting shot, what would you say as an advice to our teaming audience that would help them to have the structure that works, the structure that enables sustainable growth for their businesses?
Okay, so I would say if you haven't started your business, consider many things. Consider one, the type of customers you will have and the type of customers you will serve before deciding what kind of legal structure that your business should be. If you've already started your business, now I've also found out that you can write to CAC to try to change you from the type of business you are. So you have the opportunity to actually reduce or change. So don't say you're stuck with it and you're now dealing with the tax implication. Write to CAC or write to a lawyer that does that and see how they can change the type of business legal structure that you have. Then also please consider strategy, consider the processes in place, and make sure you put your systems in place. And finally, even if you're the only one in your business, begin to document your standard operations procedure so that when you begin to have clients or when you begin to have employees, you will be able to train them easily with the standards that you've already put in place. And finally, calculate your risk and take them. Don't be afraid. If you fail, try again and again and again. And succeed.
Thank you very, very much, Immaculate. You've done wonderfully well. I wish we can go on and on. I know you are pressed for time, and you've done so much today that we are very appreciative. I hope when next time we come calling, you would oblige us and not consider us as overtures. Thank you very much for this great insight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay. We'll go on a very short break. Before then, let me recognize our regular follower. Right now, that's our new Comfort Adenike is online. Thank you for joining. And our regular ones, Taiwo Ojo from Abuja, Dr. Asen Bella saying thank you for being a constant companion on this show. And Adetunji Aderito, thank you very much. Wendy Garuba, thank you for being with us all the time. So we'll go on a very short break and we'll be right back. Please remain connected for our recap section. Thank you.
These dry bones will rise again. 'Cause the stone has been rolled away. At the touch of living water. Yeah, yeah. This broken branch will live again. These fallen walls will be restored, says the Lord. So hear his voice as he calls, come forth. Come alive. It's not over till Jehovah says
Thank you very much for staying connected. We'll quickly go through our wrap-up session. Our guest today has given us a great insight. Of course, before we actually talk of business structure, we must have all this detail in our business plan. It's already something that we should consider when we are drawing up our business plan. So, starting with our legal structure, what kind of legal structure do we want to have depending on our objective? We want to have a business that can be connected worldwide or just localized business and things like that. That would determine the kind of structure. Like we have been told, a single or individual person is usually not reckoned with as opposed to bigger number of partners, numbers of directors and things like that, talking of corporate entity. So that's we must keep in mind. We also need to make sure that we have a good financial management built into our structure for sustainability. That is effective financial management practices. We must have our budget forecasting and regular financial analysis. That's very key. Our operation process, as she told us, even as for single or small businesses, you can still write your processes down. It helps a lot to get transition moving on smoothly. If you have new employees, all you need to do is to get them to go through it, and then you have fewer tasks to do to get them to understand it. So it's good to have a standard operating manual, as she has told us. Then team structure, we need to build, especially now that people are not lasting long or staying long in this in companies or businesses. For us to be able to retain and have loyal employees, we have to have a very good team bonding process in our structure. We should also encourage capable team, like she told us, instead of having just a whole pack of people that are not useful. We may have one or two, but that are effective and are well remunerated, to encourage them to stay. Then our marketing is also very important. We have to have good marketing strategies, part of what we should consider within our structure, building our brand and creating awareness to our brand, leveraging on digital marketing, which is the in thing now. Then our customer relations is very key in anything that we do. That is a very key aspect of it. Is when we have customers that we can be in business, and how to retain them and get new one should be on top of the list of our strategy. Risk management, we've been told there's no venture, no gain. That means there's no aspect of business you want to do that you will not have an element of risk. The degree may vary from one business to the other, but there's an element of risk. So we should not shy away from taking risk, but it should be calculated risk, not just any risk, not risk that will drown us or put us out of business. We must be flexible It's time for flexibility. Don't insist that you must have an employee that will work 6 days in a 7-day week. You have to be flexible to make sure that you attract the best to help you to grow your business, and the adaptability also to include innovation and being adaptable to new technology, new technological trends. So it's very important. Also, most businesses, especially small ones, do not have exit strategy. We should plan for our businesses to outlive us. So there must be clear exit strategy, not only for employees, even for the owner. So that is very important if we are talking of having a sustainable business and passing it on or making it bigger than a family business that is than it started with. It can grow into a conglomerate. Many conglomerates out there started as a family unit, a family business, and they are there now, outliving the original owner. So we should also aim to do that. It's not impossible. So for us to have a long-term sustainability and build legacy for our business, all these are things that we should ensure we pay particular attention to. I hope you have gained valuable insights into key components of business structure from all that we have talked about today, right from legal entity to designing an effective organization now framework. Remember, the structure you choose is not a one size fits all. It depends on your own aim and vision, your unique vision, goals, and the industry dynamics that you want to play in. So, as you embark on the path of structuring or restructuring for those who are already in business, keep in mind the importance of continuous learning. This is key. The business landscape is ever evolving, and staying ahead and being well informed about the industry trends, regulatory changes, and emerging technologies is very, very crucial for our long-term success. So I encourage each and every one of you to take these lessons learned today and apply them to your own entrepreneurial endeavors. Surround yourself with a strong support network, seek advice from mentors, and embrace the new inevitable challenges as opportunities for growth. Thank you once again for your active participation and engagement. I wish you all the best in structuring and growing your business. I'd like to appreciate the special guest once more, even though she has existed. She has done very well, and each and every one of you, our online audience, I appreciate you all. It has been a very insightful and engaging conversation, and I hope you found value in the ideas and strategies that we have shared today. So please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Comfort Eyitayo. Once you have subscribed, please turn on the notification button, like and share our videos. Stay updated with information about upcoming events, solutions, and offers on my Instagram account at Comfort Eyitayo, as well as the Facebook at Comfort Eyitayo. Till I come your way again, I wish you the best, and I pray that you found value, your ventures in the building of your structure will succeed, and will all make reasonable progress in our businesses. Thank you very much, and have the best of the new week. Good luck. God bless.